Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to summarize for you the meeting that I have just had with bipartisan leaders. America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
We intend to end the drug menace and to eliminate this dark, evil enemy within.
Put them away where they belong.
3 strikes and you are out.
Extraordinary numbers of people are in prison because of drugs, yet it is not a place to get drug treatment. They come out, and then we're surprised that we have the highest recidivism rates, and that results in this cycle of incarceration and overcrowding.
This concentration of people, whether it's in inner city ghettos or in prisons, creates a culture of hopelessness that is incredibly corrosive. When they don't have any prospects, people turn to drugs.
Our prison population has exploded for a number of reasons, from the dismantling of our mental health system to mandatory minimum sentence laws, which help explain why 97% of people plead guilty to federal crimes rather than risk going to trial, to, of course, drugs. Because half the people in federal prison are there on drug charges, and it accounts for 1/4 of admissions to state prisons. And of course, it's tricky to know how to feel about all this, because on the one hand, the war on drugs has completely solved our nation's drug problem, so that's good. But on the other hand, our drug laws do seem to be a little draconian and a lot racist. Because while white people and African Americans use drugs about the same amount, a study has found that African Americans have been sent to prison for drug offences at up to 10 times the rate, for some utterly known reason. It reminds me of a joke. You know, black people who commit drug offences, they go to jail like this, whereas white people don't go to jail at all.
Law has said that the U.S. war on drugs has not been successful.
Drugs are cheaper and more plentiful now than ever before.
I don't think the current law can be defended.
Too many people in jail that don't need to be there. There's a lot that is not working.
We've fought a war, we've been unsuccessful.
I believe it is in the interest of every American that we thoroughly examine our entire criminal justice system.
It affects all of us.
We are engaged in a great experiment. What happens when you take large numbers of people, remove them from their neighborhoods, their families?
What y'all getting them for?
What does this do to the broader community?
Lives. And today we see millions of poor people and folks of color who are trapped yet again in a criminal justice system, which are treating them like commodities and like people who are easily disposable.
In certain states, because drugs have served the so-called war on drugs, which, as we know, has been a war on poor communities, Black and Latino communities all over the country. That so-called war on drugs has been the major motor driving the rising prison population. So I often point out we need to look at the corresponding pharmaceutical industrial complex when we, think about the way drugs have served as a pretext for incarcerating such vast numbers of people of color.
You need to care about that person down the block because the same rights that they have, you have. And if you let their rights be compromised, your rights are compromised. At some point, you have to stand up and say, it's not okay.
If there's anything ever going to be done about this is going to change. It's going to have to come from the people out there. Going to have to help. We can't do it from here.